The wheels continue to turn in this new realignment, this college football playoff world that we are all now living in. And I think we are on the brink of absolute Armageddon in college sports, because you have this proposal by the Big Ten and the SEC to give its champions multiple bye weeks, not affording the same luxury to the ACC or the Big 12, thereby giving the Big Ten and the SEC a massive advantage in time, rest, and recovery. And I just don't see how you can do this. And listen, I understand that we're in a situation where you are trying to make a cash grab here. That's all this is. You are trying to push everybody else further and further away from a college football playoff championship. And I totally understand your desire to do that. What I don't understand is their desire to destroy college football, because that plain and simply is what this is. And we can sit here and we can go round and round about, what impacts and implications this has on college athletics. But Jake, I don't think there's any way to spin it. This in no way, shape, or form is good for college football.
Absolutely not. And I think it exacerbates the current issues in college football, which is we have the same set of teams that play in the college football playoff and contend for a championship every single year. And so the concept of, hey, let's give the SEC and the Big Ten bye weeks and give them even more of an advantage than they already have in, let's say, NIL, recruiting, just pure talent on the whole. Like, you're already talking about two conferences that have the best of the best in terms of talent, facilities, money, everything that you would need to win a national championship or contend for a national championship on the football field, these schools have. And so the idea that you would not only give them more auto qualifiers, you would then give them a bye week, to me is crazy. I don't know how that is suitable for anyone else. Now, if you want to talk about, if you want to go down the road of, hey, like in an expanded college football playoff, the top four get bye weeks or whatever that ends up looking like. Okay, at least that's then a conversation, because then you're opening it up to everybody. But to say that, hey, yeah, we're going to give more auto qualifiers to just these two conferences, we're then going to give them bye weeks, like, you might as well just go and hand them the trophy right now. I don't know how we're trying to gift wrap this as anything other than bad for college football. I don't know how you get around that.
Yeah, and I understand the desire to have a larger slice of the pie. But the minute that you give the Big Ten and the SEC champions bye weeks, which it essentially amount to 3 weeks off, I think you're absolutely handing them the college football playoff championship. That's what you're doing. And I think it's no longer a competition of who the best team is. It is who's got the easiest path. And I think the hardest part is we can sit here and have this discussion about, well, who's the best conference? But what is the Big Ten done to earn this? That's my big question here. Like, what is the Big Ten done to put themselves in this position? Do they have multiple dynasties in their conference? They don't. Have they, like, you look at Michigan winning a championship, it's a huge question of how they did that.
Mm-hmm.
So even when they won a championship, it is arguably the most controversial championship that's ever been won in most of our lives. What has the Big Ten done to earn that? That is, at some point, we need to stop sugarcoating these conversations where we just give the Big Ten the benefit of the doubt, because I don't think there's giving the Big Ten the benefit of the doubt anymore. Because what have they done? What have they earned? What have they done to position themselves in a place where they can dictate who and when they play? That's the most baffling part of this. Again, the SEC, unquestioned, the best conference in college football. I have no doubt about that. Georgia, Bama, like the titans of the titans in the modern era of college football reside in the SEC. I have no questions about that. Sure, did the Big Ten expand? Sure, they did. What have they done on the field that tells you they should have a conference champion earn a first-round bye for multiple weeks in the new 14-team college football playoff? Nothing. That's what they've done. The Big Ten has been, and until they are not, will be frauds for years. They have never been the most dominant conference in college football. They've never been the most dominant conference in college basketball, at least not in the modern era. Why are we having this discussion about the Big Ten? That's the thing I don't understand. I get it. The Big Ten makes more money than everybody else. That doesn't mean it's a better product. That doesn't mean that Michigan didn't cheat. That doesn't mean that they belong in this position.
Bless you, sir.
Did I just get Navalny by the Big Ten?
I think you did, dude.
I think I did.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the Big Ten's position's always been, again, as you always say, in the modern day, as long as I've known the Big Ten, certainly, that they have a great TV contract and they make a lot of money. That's their position. It's not that, hey, like, we, you know, even the top half of the conference, it's never been, hey, the top half of our conference is always in the college football playoff conversation. That's never been the case. And so you ask the question of, hey, what have they done to earn auto qualifiers and first round buys and all the fancy gadgets on the car? They've done nothing. They've just simply said, okay, we're going to go out and get the biggest TV contract, and we're going to have really good timing with this Michigan championship, all cheating aside, right? Because I think it's a great point. But that's essentially what's taken place here. And I think it's a really interesting conversation because the problem is there's nobody else to step in for the Big Ten. The ACC is not doing that. The Big 12 certainly isn't doing that.
No.
So the Big Ten is essentially riding a free pass card into this situation because they have the biggest TV contract and they have Ohio State. Those are the two things that truly have put them in the position that they're in. Because I'm not certainly going to sit here, especially after what I saw at the Combine, and say, yeah, Michigan's going to be fine this year. They're going to be the same national championship team that we saw this past year. I'm not saying that because there's no way that that's possible. So I guess the real question is, what does the new Big Ten look like? Does the new Big Ten feature, several teams competing against the SEC for a national championship?
Well,
or are we going to get more mediocrity? Because I have to think Oregon's going to be pretty good. You got to think Ohio State's going to continue to be good. But much past that, I'm not sure.
You don't forget USC.
I'm not doing it. We will continue to differ on that. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that.
USC is going to suck. They're going to be terrible. It's going to be awful. Maybe I'm just dying right here on the air. I don't know. But my point is, I don't get it. I've never understood.
Me either.
I've never understood this idea that the Big Ten is this behemoth. This is branding.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have big brands? They do. Do those big brands bring viewers to the TV? Not necessarily. Do Michigan and Ohio State fans turn out? Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you can say that, again, I always point to the strength and the weakness of a conference is what? It's the bottom half of the conference. The bottom half of this conference is abysmal. It's terrible. You again, I'm going to point to Purdue. I'm going to point to Indiana. I'm going to point to PJ Fleck and his poor treatment of human beings in Minneapolis. You can point to the bottom feeders in this conference, and they're irrelevant. And until Wisconsin's relevant again, until Illinois is relevant at something on a grander scale, you can't possibly look at the Big Ten and believe that they compete with the SEC.
No way.
There's no existence. In no college football playoff model is that the case.
And I think it seems to be uncouth around college football playoff circles in terms of the people who make these decisions to say, to say, hey, the SEC should be on a pedestal and should be everybody else. Like if we were saying, hey, the SEC is going to get, more AQs and they're going to get, let's say two first round buys, if you will. I could almost get down with that. I could say, okay, you know what? Yeah, they've got Bama. They've got Georgia
right
every single year. You have to think Ole Miss is going to be in that conversation. Most years lately, LSU has been in the conversation. Tennessee's been in the conversation. Like there are teams in the SEC that are not Alabama and Georgia that are in the conversation with regularity. And I think that's the biggest difference. So I guess what's difficult for me to swallow is that the college football playoff system is turning into hey, we're going to give these two conferences a free pass and just let them go out and make all the money, and then everybody else is going to just have to deal with it, rather than saying, hey, yeah, let's create, again, this Fantasyland God tier setup where at least then everyone still has to compete. We're just going to level the playing field on the P&L sheet.
I think,
why would we not?
I think, again, I will just point to raw numbers. You add 6 teams. If you count LSU, Missouri has to be in that conversation, although I don't know that Missouri can consistently compete. Bama, Georgia, like Texas A&M, I would assume at some point with all that bread is going to compete. I think that Ole Miss can win any week. Oh, did I mention that they added Texas and Oklahoma? I think we forgot to throw that in there.
Yeah.
You're talking about 6, 8, 9 teams.
Well, and I think, Auburn's another one that can produce a really good football game. I'm not saying that they're college football playoff contenders, but
not right now.
It seems like, just this past year, I remember watching Georgia at Auburn, and everyone was like, oh, Auburn's terrible. Georgia's going to win by 50. And I think Georgia won by maybe a possession. That's why the SEC is different. And so that's what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with the SEC in this conversation. The SEC, to me, has earned it far and away. There's no disputing it. I almost feel like we all agree on that. But what we're never going to agree on is the fact that the Big Ten is a one-team conference 9 out of 10 years, and the second team changes every single year.
I look at Washington, Oregon, USC. Those 3 are college football playoff. In a 14-team playoff, those 3 are college football playoff contenders damn near every year. I look at Ohio State. That's a college football playoff team every single year. I don't know what to make of Michigan right now. I think it's to be determined.
Yeah.
But if you look at Penn State, is Penn State one of the 14 best teams in the country every year?
No.
Yeah. Well, they're in the neighborhood. Now, again, they finished 13th this year. And I don't think James Franklin is up for a tougher conference. That's just me. I think Penn State is going to be on that line every single year, but they're on that line every year, right? So that's 5 teams. That's 5 teams. Is there anybody who believes that, wow, man, Iowa was one of the 2 best teams in the conference? No, nobody believes that.
No.
Nobody believes that. How long is it going to be before Matt Rule turns Nebraska around? I don't know. Hopefully sooner than later if you're a Nebraska fan. But until they are, they're not, right? I just look at there's a huge gap here.
Yes.
And I'll go back to the Big 12. And I will continue to fight for the Big 12 as long as it takes. The Big 12 is the one getting disrespected here. The Big 12, especially when you added the 4 corner schools. And I know, I made the huge mistake of saying that Utah was one of the premier athletic departments in the country. And I think the best athletic department in the Big 12. And all kind of fans are like, well, they don't win on the field, Monty. Did I say that they win the most games on the field?
Do you even watch football, Monty?
It's wild to me how many people look at the Big 12 and they think, well, the Big 12 was Texas and Oklahoma. It's dead. It's not dead. It's far from dead. I'm going to make the argument that I think this coming season, especially if Utah gets into the college football playoff, and I have no reason to believe they won't, if they get into the college football playoff, I'm telling you now, the Big 12 is going to be the second best conference in college football. Because I think the SEC, hands down, not close. There's not even a discussion. With Texas and Oklahoma coming in, there's not even a discussion. Stop kidding yourself.
Yeah.
Stop kidding yourself.
Yeah.
And before I get to the comment section, because I want to hear from you guys on this thing where you have the Big 10 and the SEC proposing that their conference champions get a multi-week bye, an automatic multi-week bye every year, no matter what. And I am just amazed by that.
Yeah, I just don't know why it's so difficult for a group of people to come together and say, okay, let's look at the bye week system. Because, again, I'm a big believer in it's like what Florida State said, right? Now, I'm not even a Florida State, defender. But Florida State was like, it matters what happens between the white lines and the kids should decide. Yet here we are, a bunch of old white folks in gray hairs and people who've been around football for decades are like, yeah, let's just give these people bye weeks instead of saying, hey, why don't we have the caveat be, hey, you got to be a 10-win football team. And 90+% of your games have to be Power 4 opponents. No more this, Waxahachie State nonsense in week 10.
In the middle of the season.
Yeah, that's not going to work anymore, dude.
Which essentially is a bye week.
Yeah. So again, there needs to be parameters. It can't, and maybe there will be, right? This is an ongoing conversation. Obviously, it's not set in stone, but this is the ask, and it's probably going to happen. The only question is going to be, what are you going to have to do to get the bye week? Because if it's as simple as, hey, dude, you just got to win your conference. I'm here for that in the SEC. I'm not here for it in any other conference. No. Not here for it.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. I think this is so bad for college sports. It's so bad for college sports. I don't even know how to.
And I think that
I don't even know how to spin it beyond that.
Like, I think it's another interesting conversation. Like, if this is how we're going to treat football, how are we treating basketball and any other sport? Right. I mean, I know that, like, again, not, all jokes aside, I know sports like baseball don't generate the same revenue, obviously. Right. But it seems like every single year there is a great NCAA baseball college World Series tournament that happens. That is definitely.
But college basketball, the tournament is your best point here.
Yeah.
Because, again, how does the Big Ten make an argument that they're an elite basketball conference? How? I don't know. I don't even know how you have a basketball discussion in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Because nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to add North Carolina, Monty. Yeah, hey, well, you haven't added them yet.
Yeah, let me know when that actually happens.
That's what I hear all the time in our comment section on YouTube. Well, we're adding, in the popular ones, we're adding Duke and Carolina, Monty. Then we'll be a basketball powerhouse. Then what are you going to say? I'm going to say you're not a basketball powerhouse. You're a two-team basketball league because you're not a basketball league now. Like, if basketball is this really, and I think it is, if it's this really important revenue stream for all these universities and all these conferences getting tournament shares, and where's the Big Ten in that? I am so over the greatness of the Big Ten. As much as I used to throw up on my entire TV screen every time Bill Walton would say the Conference of Champions, Monty. Shut up, bullshit. Redheaded fuck. Oh. Probably got a little carried away there. Too much. But my point.
Oh, my bad. My bad, guys.
My bad. No redos.
Conference champions, Monty. Anyway, my point is, as much as I used to absolutely vomit everywhere when Bill Walton would say Conference of Champions.
Yeah.
The spin on the Big Ten being this elite conference is ridiculous now.
Well, what was worse, too? Like, everyone's saying the Big Ten is this great conference, or everybody's saying the Pac-12 was a terrible conference on the football field. Because it seems to me that that's what the narrative was for ages. And obviously now the Pac-12 is dead. But we're going to find out, right? It's like, hey, it's the bar graph, right? The more you F around, the more you're going to find out. Right. And the more you want to find out, the more you got to F around.
We're the Big Ten.
So again, when Dan Lanning is saying, hey, screw Ryan Day, right? Screw the great God Almighty himself, Sharon Moore. We're winning the Big Ten this year. We're sitting all you guys down. Then we'll see how good the Big Ten is. Because if anybody but Ohio State wins that conference or Penn State wins that conference, you got a serious problem with the Big Ten. Yeah, Petter-ass State.
Thank you. I'm
Joe Pa Field.
But Dan Lanning at Oregon needs to win.
He does.
Because I look at Dan Lanning. Another thing, I say too many things that piss people off, apparently. How many fans were in the comment section over the weekend? You called Oregon a blue blood. Well, I think Oregon football is a blue blood program. I think they operate on that level. Have they won? They haven't won enough. They haven't. When Chip Kelly, everybody's favorite offensive coordinator, was a head coach, they didn't win the big game, right? Mario Cristobal broke everybody's heart. They didn't win the big game.
Well, that Georgia performance.
Well, Dan Lanning needs to win.
Yeah.
as soon as Dan Lanning wins, and I know it's the Big Ten, it's no way. It's insert. There's no way. I mean, that conference is 74 teams deep. There's no. It's the Big Ten.
Deal. I'm the best there is.
You know,
fucking ass.
Yeah, the Big Ten, hashtag FAFO. Like, yeah, buddy, let's do this.
FAFO.
Okay. The comment section, as always, is brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. I didn't even get a lot of sleep last night. PrizePicks.com, who just has been ravaging me for a week. It's been a full 7 days now since I won at Prize. I had a great weekend last weekend on Prize Picks. I haven't won since. Again, maybe it's the Navalny thing. I have no idea. But getting on Prize Picks, just getting piped this week. But tonight's the bounce back. Lost last night because Jalen Brunson got hurt in like the first 4 seconds of the game.
Yeah, way to run into your own guy's knee, douche.
So Jalen Brunson gets hurt. They take him out. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to get upset that Billy Horschel didn't get to finish his round.
Bro, you...
Yes.
What?
My name is Monty.
Billy Horschel?
I love Billy Horschel.
Yeah, I mean, I love Billy. That doesn't mean Billy's going to make you that bread, bro.
He shot at 12 under 66.
Yeah. What did you take him on? Do you remember?
I don't even want to say. Birdies made, which was a huge mistake.
Whatever.
Huge mistake.
Well,
anyway.
Again, like you said, we're going to bounce back.
PrizePicks.com. I will return. The king will be back. I am not.
Monty.
I am not. Look, this is the Conference of Champions over here on Prize Picks. I will not. Download the Prize Picks app.
Here I am.
Use the promo code Monty to get 100% deposit matching. It's such a good, dude. Put in $10. You'll have 20 to play with. You can play for a month on $20 at PrizePicks.com. All right, let's get to the comments section.
This should be good.
Wasikowski, what the hell did you... Dude, it's Monday. We're 23 minutes into the show, and you got fucking filtered already. How, dude?
Well, Monty, you said the USC is a contender every year, and they're not, and that's BS, and I'm mad about it.
The first comment I see is message retracted, filtered. What did you do? Dude, you've been here.
Look here, man.
All right, we'll see you later.
Do you see how these shows the momentum is like, okay, we're good. Oh, look out.
Yeah.
Double diamond.
I knew today would be shitty.
What could you have possibly said in the first 5 minutes of the show that got you filtered?
Oh, man.
All right, let's see. Who's first in today? Jesse Crum.
Well, hello.
Well, hello, Jesse Crum. Good to see you, friend. Mike Chase, good morning. Second, good morning, everyone. Yeah, are we hitting the like button yet? What are we doing here? Make sure you give us a thumbs up. We've had 500 people watch the show. We have 30 likes.
Come on.
Hit the like button. OG Gary, pretty sure they aren't destroying college football. I actually think if you give the Big 10 and the SEC multiple buys, their conference champion gets buys in the first 2 rounds, I think you've destroyed college football.
Well, and again, I'm just going to keep saying it. If you're going to do that, and then you're going to give them 2 more teams, it's over. It's over. It's
Why can't...
Like, it's the Big 10 and the SEC, and that's it.
Why can't we put 14 teams in? You want automatic qualifiers? Okay. Power 4, conference champions, but highest ranked G5. Good. I'm good with that. There's 5 right there. Give me 9 more. The 9 next ranked teams in. That's it. That's it. Why are we doing all this other stuff? It's 14 teams. This, you guys, is why I'm telling you, it's almost certainly has to go to 16 or 20.
And I think that
how
this
would
whole
you
thing
avoid
was just
that?
a power grab. It was just simply a power grab. Hey, if we're going to expand, and you said this initially when this first came out.
Yeah.
Hey, if we're going to expand, we're the SEC and the Big 10. You know, we're going to have auto qualifiers. We're going to have, this setup. We're going to have assurances. And to that end, I really don't understand it, because if you said, hey, and I have to pull it up again, like, the 20th ranked team in the country is playing Ohio State in the first week of the college football playoff, right? A mid-table team that found their way into the 14th seed,
right.
Let's say. Ohio State's going to win that game. So what are we
Or they
scared
should,
of? Or
right?
they should. Yeah. So what are we scared of? What is the issue? And by the way, this whole conversation that just seemed to fly under the radar all weekend, right? About how the college football playoff old heads want to move up bowl week and they want to change the bowl format a little bit and they want to make, they want more meaningful games. How is that going to work out for you if you're giving these teams auto qualifiers and bye weeks?
What do you do with December?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was another big topic in the comment section. I don't know what you do with December. You have an early signing period. You have portal. You have big bowl games. You have recruiting by coaches. I don't know how you coach a college football team in December. I have no idea.
Well, I think that the best thing, this is the hypocrisy to me. So the powers that be, the Big Ten and the SEC want these bye weeks and they want auto qualifiers, but they don't want to compete in late November, early December, which I just don't understand. That goes against everything that you're saying. You're saying, hey, we worked our ass off all year. We want bye weeks. Well, but you didn't work your ass off when it mattered most. Right? You didn't play games of consequence historically.
That's right.
In early December, yet this is what you want. So forgive me for questioning this what I would call a power grab. You just want an upper hand.
That's it.
You can say, hey, we're
That's
rested.
exactly right.
Our, Brock Bowers is back and our guys are back and our O-line is good and Blake Corum's gonna run better because he's rested. Like that's all this is, man. So that's why I'm saying when you say, hey, it's not going to destroy college football.
Yeah, I disagree.
It is going to destroy college football because, and again, I'm here for the conversation around, hey, it's been the SEC and the Big Ten every year. You're right. It has. It absolutely has. The difference is that it was that way because they went out and did it on the field.
And we're expanding, so it isn't always that way.
But yet here we are, bye weeks and auto qualifiers.
Yeah.
So we're not doing anything.
Good morning, Harry Austin. Good to see you, my favorite San Antonian. Dakota Tubbs, morning, Jagoffs.
Yes, sir.
Dakota, good to see you. Thanks for being here. RJC, man, NBC, Notre Dame, hold the keys to preserve the game of college football. Well, Notre Dame, if you're Notre Dame, how do you feel about
Notre Dame, our mother.
Automatic qualifiers, like 13 automatic qualifiers from the Big Ten, and then you? Like, I would imagine you're pretty happy about that, considering the Big Ten's like a two-team league. But Notre Dame's in a very interesting spot because we are quite literally talking about the exact reasons they would join a conference.
Yeah.
Access, TV deal, scheduling, money.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is in question right now for Notre Dame if this goes through.
But I think what's not in question is that Notre Dame's always a part of the picture. I think that Notre Dame is a strong enough brand. They're in it every single year. And I know because it was only 4 teams, they haven't been in the playoff quite literally every year, but they're always in the conversation, which is why the running joke on the show about your boy Marcus still lives on, right? I mean, that's why, because that was Ohio State, the biggest game of the season, and Notre Dame, screwed it up.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's why I say, while all those are questions for Notre Dame, their presence in this conversation is not in question.
Mountain Mama, good to see you, Mike Smith. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Appreciate that very much. Let's see. Christopher Shannon. Monday morning, Monty Wood. What's up?
Monty Wood.
Stay hard.
Okay. You want to double up on me, dude?
I swear.
Dude.
Do not try me,
I'll Wasikowski you.
Thank you. Shouty Kunsinvang. Okay.
Nice
just Shouty. Good morning. What's up? Christopher Shannon. I'm so bricked up right now.
That's right.
Well,
yeah.
Anytime you come to the Monty Show, you're bricked
I'm
up.
so bricked up right now.
Moth Prof. Good day to you, sir.
Yeah.
Wow. Moth Prof. Too long, my friend. It's already David versus Goliath. Now the P2 want to take away David's sling. I'm
100%.
saying. Mad Cat, how the heck are you? Christopher Shannon, they make more money than the SEC, even though they hardly win national championships. Their fan bases are massive. Tune in to watch. Hey, make money. Well, you're not wrong. They do. They have big fan bases.
But I just think the hypocrisy of, hey, again, the crying about, man, it should all be decided on the field, yet here we are deciding it on P&L sheets and in boardrooms.
Yeah.
That's the hypocrisy.
So who decided to put Ward Manuel in as the college football playoff chairman?
Precisely my point.
Yeah. Listen, I think Ward, after this, you may see Ward Manuel get one more chance if he does not handle this Michigan basketball situation correctly, because we heard more over the weekend about the struggles for culture and student well-being in the basketball program over the weekend. And I think it is a real question. I don't see how Juwan Howard continues.
Yeah.
I truly do not. And this has not been a good 2 years for the Michigan athletic department. And I think a lot of people say, well, they won a national championship, Monty. And they spent more in legal bills than they made in the college football playoff.
Which is wild.
And they are going to really, really struggle, in my opinion, if Ward Manuel continues as their athletic director. He has shown no backbone. He has shown no ability that the way that Jim Harbaugh, there wasn't even a reach around from Jim Harbaugh. There was no kiss on the neck or, dude, it was straight. No, it was not. It was not lovemaking from Jim Harbaugh. This was ugly. The way he went to Los Angeles with the Chargers, who should still be in San Diego, was ugly. His outright refusal to cooperate with the NCAA, Ward Manuel's inability to make him cooperate with the NCAA, the malfeasance with Matt Weiss, the firing, and I don't think there's any way to even argue it. Firing Connor Stallions right out the gate was a huge mistake now. It looks like, you just keep hanging guilty signs around your neck. Oh, by the way, you never said that you didn't do it.
Right.
And all of this nonsense around Juwan Howard punching people, slapping people in handshake lines. Who wants to go through a handshake line with Juwan Howard?
Nobody.
Right? You better have medical insurance and you better have your doctor on call because he's about to try and knock you the f out.
Yes.
Like in the Big Ten.
I'll drop that motherfucker.
Good job. Good job. Let's see. Brandon Butler goes in tight, Monty. Okay. No Stallions, no national championship.
Facts.
Big Ten is riding the coattails of Ohio State and Michigan. Hopefully, but those are your two favorite teams.
Yeah, dude.
OG Gary.
What are you talking about? You're a Michigan fan. We know that.
Hopefully the addition of Oregon, Washington, SC, and to some extent UCLA get in there and really give the Big the argument they were looking for. Well, it better. It absolutely
And
better.
I don't even know that you got to win national championships with those teams, but you got to dominate the attendance factor in the college football playoff.
Wasikowski says, I'm sorry. It's Monday. I don't know what you said because when you get filtered by YouTube, I can't see your comment. But just know whatever you talked about, Christopher Shannon, Donnie lost the. I don't.
Dude, we're not doing it.
No,
nope.
I don't want to know.
Nope.
Nobody should get buys, Rick Forrester said.
Agreed.
I agree.
I completely agree.
D-Rock agrees. We need to get rid. We need a net ranking for college football.
But again, this doesn't even have to do with rankings. This is just them saying, hey, if you win your conference, you got to buy.
Yeah.
Don't
disagree. FCS playoff model would benefit, but would it? Who's agreeing to that? Who's agreeing to that? Mountain Mama, why do the Big Ten and the SEC hate America? It's a question I ask myself every day, Mike. I don't know the answer. Boyd Lake, why are the Big Ten and the SEC so afraid of having more teams in the college football playoff? Because it limits their ability to win it. I think the Big Ten especially. I don't know, even with the additions that you make, what has Oregon been in the college football playoff? Rare and disappointing.
Yeah.
Washington, disappointing. USC of recent times for the last 15 years, disappointing.
Yeah, and I think the hard part for Oregon is they do have one. They won it once. And I think nobody remembers that because it was the first year we had the college football playoff system. And that was like, we're working on 10 years ago now.
I think getting there is not good enough. And I think that if you look at, and listen, I don't think that it is, and I'm going to look up numbers on Oregon first because I don't want to besmirch. Well, I do because Dan Lanning's kind of a red ass.
Yeah.
But I don't want to besmirch Dan Lanning in Oregon any more than we have to.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is I look at Oregon, they're disappointing.
Agreed. Yeah.
Right? They're disappointing.
Yeah.
And I think I look at the difficulty, and I look at I don't know, what's the right way to say it? I look at the challenges that Dan Lanning faces at Oregon, especially now that he has an easier road to the college football playoff. Because can you argue it's an easier road through the Big Ten than it was in the Pac-12?
100%.
I mean, that's why I look at this, and I look at the fact that I just don't know how do you argue?
I mean, think about their season, dude. They lost twice to Washington, right? To a team that inevitably goes to the national championship game and loses. But think about the fact that Oregon is not going to face that type of wall in the Big Ten. I mean, you're obviously Ohio State's going to be really good. We keep saying that, and I think they deserve that respect. But again, your defense has shown an ability seemingly every year under Dan Lanning to perform against the best offenses, right? And whether that's by scheme or just by raw want to, whatever, they get the job done. And so if Dan Lanning were to not be in the Big Ten championship game this coming year, I'd be really surprised by it. Honestly, like, I think that's the expectation for Oregon. I would expect you to go to the Big Ten championship game. And then I would expect you to be, if you're not winning the Big Ten, you should be that secondary AQ when that system rolls out. That's the type of team Oregon should be.
Yeah. Man, I forgot how much of an ass whooping Mark Helfrich took on the way out the door at Oregon.
Yeah.
That's right. They lost 42-20 to Ohio State that year.
Yeah.
But listen, they got there. You know, I don't know.
Nobody remembers that. That's
nobody.
The problem for Oregon.
When's the last time that you guys thought about Mark Helfrich?
Yeah.
That's been a long time.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember, like, who was the starting quarterback at Ohio State that year?
Jesus. Idea.
Jesus was not the starting quarterback at Ohio State.
Cardale
Jones. Marcus Mariota at Oregon. I think everybody knows that. But you think about some of the names that played for, you want to hear a football team? Here's the defense at Ohio State. Joey Bosa, Michael Bennett, Adolphus Washington. Who remembers Eli Apple and Von Bell?
Ooh.
Who remembers, Grant Perry, Darren Lee? Who remembers DeForest Buckner at defensive end for Oregon? Arik Armstead. Yeah, dude. Like, Oregon was good.
Loaded.
Ohio State was really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And that was Herbs, too. Don't forget about Pervin Liar.
Yeah.
Right? Like Devin Smith, Michael Thomas, Taylor Decker. I mean, come on now. Who are we kidding? Ezekiel Elliott? Zeke is his running back?
Dude. Yep.
Well, we shouldn't talk about
Crop
girls.
Top Zeke.
Zeke's apartment, but you know. Robert Fowler, when did Oregon when did Oregon win it? Well, they got to the championship in the first game. Well, they got boat raced by Ohio State.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oregon won a playoff game, but not the championship.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, but
did I say that?
No, I said they won. My point was,
Idiot.
Hey, they got to the national championship game in 2015, and nobody remembers that, and nobody cares. Yeah, nobody cares, dude. I don't care what happened in 2015. I care about the fact that first team all SRT and now the best college football coach we've ever seen dominated this thing for the last 5 to 7 seasons to the point where Oregon is a secondary team in terms of national championship conversations. And that is how good the SEC is. And that is precisely why the Big Ten should not be getting bye weeks. And to me, again, bye weeks in college football just shouldn't be a thing. It's just not proper. It should be what you said. Hey, conference champions all get automatic qualifiers.
Yeah.
Just the way it is. And now we just expanded it so more teams can get in. It's that simple. It's
how
hard.
did Cardale Jones, like, he just was a nothing ever.
Yeah.
I think the last time I saw Cardale Jones didn't he sign with some nobody nothing team in like Maine to play in the AFL or the Arena Football League or something? Like, How did Cardale Jones not make it?
Yeah.
Look how loaded that team was.
Yeah.
How did Cardale Jones not make it? That's wild to me. Mad Cat, good morning to you. The G5 conference is powerless. Well, I don't disagree with that. Is this, in the comment section, good or bad? Is this good or bad for college football to give the Big Ten and the SEC champion multiple bye weeks? I think it's terrible.
Yeah,
I think it's horrendous.
I don't know how you say it's good for college football.
I don't know. Gary says I have Oregon winning the Big Ten year one. No, I think that's Ohio State.
Yeah.
If Ohio State doesn't win it, I don't know how you don't run over Lloyd Carr with the team bus. Like, seriously, can you imagine Ohio State not winning the Big Ten this year? Sharon Moore is going to win like one game a month. Michigan's going to have a very difficult time. I think it is are they one of the 14 best teams in the country this year? I think that's a real question. I think there's nobody that should compete with Ohio State. Like all the offseason signings, fat-faced Chip Kelly, like you have everything. If Ryan Day doesn't win the Big Ten now, dude, yard arm, like whatever you got to do, you need to take him out.
Yeah, I know what time it is.
Have Dakota Tubbs call Pooty and get some of that Navalny on the door handle.
Yeah, dude.
Because it's got to be done at Ohio State.
I'm gonna Navalny your ass.
Right? Seriously. You are going to be murked at Ohio State.
Like you're medieval on your ass.
You're done. Tell me, and I know we have Ohio State fans. Tell me that the is going to whack Ryan Day, Lloyd Carr incarnate. Not that Lloyd Carr is dead, but he never was alive. That's not really the point here. Tell me that you're not going to Navalny good old Ryan Day at Ohio If he don't, come on, man. You better win the conference. You better not lose a conference game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I look at their schedule. Here's Ohio State. Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall.
Because it's garbage.
What are you talking about, dude?
Michigan State. You have 4 scrimmages to start the, or excuse me,
4-0.
5 because you play Iowa. Well, Monty, don't you be disrespecting Iowa, boy.
They won it in the 90s. Come on.
Come on, boy. They played for the Big Ten championship. Boy, did you see what Caitlin Clark did? Iowa fan comes out of the woodwork. Caitlin Clark, Monty. Yeah, she doesn't play football, bro. I could be wrong. You should be
5-0.
5-0. And then you go to Oregon on October 12th.
5-1.
You think they're going to lose it?
Yes, they will.
6-0, 7-0 after
No.
Okay, I think they'll beat Oregon. I think Ohio State is as loaded as I have ever seen Ohio State be. I mean, you're 3 quarterbacks,
right?
Steve.
But here's the problem with that. You can't have it both ways. Okay, yeah, they're loaded. They're loaded every year.
Okay, how much control of the offense? How much control of the offense does Chip Kelly have?
I think a lot. I don't think you bring in a guy like Chip Kelly to not give him control.
Then they're going to win.
Yeah.
Because it's Chip Kelly going to Oregon.
Yeah.
Chip Kelly wants to win.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
He's got the talent.
Yeah.
You've got your quarterback now. There's no more. You don't need, Marcus to forget how to count past 10 at the goal line. How do you have 10 guys on the field when they needed? Ohio State needed less than an inch, which is what your mom's always looking for.
Stay hard.
Cock.
I think you're 7-0 after Nebraska, 8-0 after Pedo State, 9-0 after Purdue, 10-0 after Car Wash Penis Thing Northwestern, Indiana.
Shower obstacles, man.
And then I think you're undefeated after you beat Michigan at the Shoe.
Well, there you go.
I think you're undefeated.
Stay hard.
That's the biggest question.
Yeah.
And if you're not, you're screwed.
You're either undefeated or you're 1 loss, but there's not much more than that.
Totally. Let's see. Michael Parks says terrible. Mike Smith says bad. Harry Austin says it's trash.
Well,
D-Rock Irish says bad. It's criminal. Ding.
Because it's garbage.
Matt Ritson, good morning, Matt. Terrible idea. Mark Hales, not just bad, but terrible.
Yeah, dude.
Terrible.
Terrible.
I agree. Jimmy Otson, Now, wait, before Jimmy, there is a Ferris Khan comment. Do I read it? Do I read it?
Sure. Ferris, you get one chance here, dude. I don't even know what the comment says. I'm guessing you're going to be all pissed off that, we disrespect Michigan, but that's just a guess.
See JJ McCarthy get outclassed at the combine?
Yeah. Casual ass quarterback.
Oregon, Michigan, and Ohio State are all going 1-1 after the other two against the other two. Okay, well,
that's reasonable.
Terrible comment as usual. Mike's turns parody into parody. Exactly right.
Right.
Exactly right. Jimmy Otson, Ohio State has to come to Eugene and win first.
Agreed.
Exactly right. It's the only game that matters next year.
But I think your point about Chip is spot on. I mean, Chip's definitely going to want to get back at them.
Dakota Tubbs, terrible. I understand one bye week for champions of conferences similar to the NFL, but that's it. That's it. Troy V, all bye weeks are trash. Should have expanded 8 to or 16 to avoid bye issues. But since they went to 12, we're stuck with buys. Stuck. Boyd Lake, load management for the college football playoff.
Load management.
It's a horrible idea all the way around. KC Boss, good or bad, it's stupid. And my school is in the SEC. They are going to ruin the best sport. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's catastrophic. Mad Cat. This is horrible for college football. Poor Navalny, rip. Dakota's guy got his job done.
Again, it's the line graph, dude.
The
more you F around, the more you find out.
Favo. Day has put his chips in this year.
See what D-Rock did there? So it's like his chips is in poker and it's a full bet, but it's Chip Kelly and it all kind of works together and molds together and stuff.
Chip.
Yeah.
Chips
ahoy.
Push Chip to the center. Huge jowls.
First team all fat ass. We get it, Zion.
Walgamot.
Okay. Walgamot?
Steve Walgamot Jr. That's our dude.
Okay.
Walgie.
Hey, Walster.
Yeah, the walnut. Ryan Day is gone if he doesn't win the Big Ten. He also is gone if he wins the Big Ten but loses to Michigan.
Yeah.
He ain't losing to Michigan. RJ Seaman. Money corrupts absolutely everything. Women's Sports Programming Network? I don't understand. Dakota Tubbs, unalive OSU. Mizzou did that in December. I don't need to call Daddy Vladdy.
Okay.
Yeah, bowl games outside of the playoff actually still matter.
I'm not your daddy.
ESPN. Okay. RJC, man.
So, dude.
Walgamot Jr., we play Iowa with Caitlin Clark as the quarterback. Mike Smith. I remember years ago Marshall winning versus Ohio State and Nugent won the game in the last. Marshall was winning versus Ohio State. Nugent won the game in the last. Nugent.
Yeah.
You haven't heard that name in years. Won the game in the last second by hitting a long distance field goal. That's probably what they don't want. Walgamot. We have Chip Kelly, 100%. Okay.
Okay.
Facts.
That's fine. Do we give Ferris another comment?
Okay, sure. His first one was mid, but
Pretty optimistic after Michigan only lost one important player in the portal in the course of 30 days.
Okay, we're moving on. Yep, moving on. Yep.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
What the hell are you talking about, dude? You're seriously going to sit here and be like, yeah, we only lost one guy in the portal, but we didn't lose half our team to the combine. Hey, guys, did you see that there were 18 people in the combine from Michigan? Man.
You had your chance, dude. Like, I tried.
Bro.
I tried.
Come on, dude.
Then go ahead and try me then.
I did try. You did. I don't think OSU has the dudes on O-line and D-line to contend with what Oregon has. Oh, I think their offensive line is going to be okay. I think they lose to Oregon twice.
Okay.
Y'all reading all this cap ass shit.
Robert Fowler, Ferris Khan, always Michigan talk only with you. That's
facts.
Is there anything else? Wasikowski, SEC Big Ten merger is definitely coming. More big football games and more viewers, not necessarily leaving the NCAA. Why would you merge?
Dude, Wasikowski, bro, You need to get off the dark web, okay? I don't know where you read this conspiracy nonsense. They're
What
not
possible
merging.
good comes from the Big Ten and the SEC merging for themselves? It shrinks them. And I go back to this idea, and I talk about this all the time here on the Monty Show, presented by our good friends at Big O Tires. Big O Tires and American Fork, your total car care experts. I talk about this all the time. First it was, well, they're going to do away with the NCAA, Monty. Well, actually, they don't want to do away with the NCAA. They control the NCAA. And all that Greg Skanke, the commissioner of the SEC, has talked about is college football has to remain a national sport.
Mm-hmm.
It is the only way for college football to prosper.
Mm-hmm.
It has to remain a national sport. And why was he referencing that? And what has he consistently said? Look at college basketball. Compare it to college football. Everybody in college basketball, you put them in the tournament, who doesn't have a chance to win the tournament? Well, Florida Atlantic's got no chance to win the tournament, Monty.
Oh.
San Diego State, no, dude, this is the pro rata they deserve. They're going to lose in the first round. Until they didn't. And what I'm trying the point that I'm trying to get across to people is shrinking college football is bad for the Big Ten and the SEC. They don't want to shrink college football. They simply want to control it.
Yes.
So them merging together would be absolutely the opposite of thriving.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What I believe, and many people have told me this is not my idea, but what I believe to be true is that the Big Ten and the SEC are waiting for the college football playoff committee to be like, okay, yeah, that's too much. That's too far. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
And then they will come back to earth. But when they're like, hey, we want 4 qualifying bids. Okay, cool. Hey, we want more money. Okay, cool. Hey, we want to bang your sister too. Okay, cool. Better call your aunt too, because your sister's not enough. Okay. Not cool, but okay.
Acceptable.
They're waiting for you to say, no, my sister's off limits, dude.
Waves in opposition.
You haven't done that yet. And I think with this double bye for their conference champions, I think you might get that.
Yeah.
Because where is Michigan and its Big Ten friends going? Where is the SEC going? If you simply just play each other, does that benefit college football? Does that benefit the SEC and the Big Ten to play each other? No, it doesn't.